Welcome back. China has announced a new $60 billion package of investment into Africa and a debt relief for some poorer African countries. The president made the announcement on Monday at the opening of the largest forum on China-Africa cooperation holding in Beijing. Defending his country's investment program in Africa, he says there are no political strings attached to the projects as they are of mutual benefit.
The new pledge by China is sure to boost development in African countries. According to the Chinese president, the $60 billion package will include $20 billion in credit lines, $15 billion as special funds, and $5 billion to finance imports from Africa. President Xi asked that Beijing plans to exempt some African countries from interest-free loans, which are due for repayments by the end of this year. Critics have been warning that African countries have been going into unsustainable levels of debt with China, which has loaned billions of dollars to finance major infrastructure development. "53 African delegations led by presidents and heads of state are attending the two-day meeting, including the chairman of the African Union, Rwanda's President Paul Kagame, and the United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres, and 27 international and African observer missions. Under the theme for this year, China and Africa towards an even stronger community with a shared future through win-win cooperation, the 2018 summit hopes to build on the outcomes of the last high-level meeting held in Johannesburg in 2015. Industry, infrastructure, and agriculture all rank highly on the agenda, as well as China's Belt and Road Initiative. The summit concludes on Tuesday with the signing of a declaration and an action plan, both expected to guide China-Africa relations for the next 3 years.
Meanwhile, Swaziland has become the only country without a representative at the China-Africa Summit in Beijing. The country, which was recently renamed as Eswatini, is the only country on the continent to reject pressure from China to drop diplomatic ties with Taiwan. Although China denies putting pressure on the kingdom to switch sides, Taiwan vows to fight what it describes as Beijing's increasingly out-of-control behavior. The kingdom, ruled by Mswati III, is one of the world's last remaining absolute monarchy. The king rules by decree over his million subjects, most of who live in the countryside and follow traditional ways of life. Joining us now is Professor Bola Akinterewa, Director General of the Bolitag Center for International Diplomacy and Strategic Studies. Thank you for joining us on the program, sir.
Thank you for having me.
Right. What do you make of China's offer of additional $60 billion in finances?
I think it's a very good development for Nigeria and for the bilateral ties. I think it's quite good for us because on the one hand, it will strengthen the economic understanding between the two countries, even though it has the potential to raise the level of indebtedness vis-à-vis China. But if the people and government of Nigeria are able to take advantage by utilizing the money for productive purposes, I think it is quite good for us. The challenge is for us to use it well, not to spend the money on consumption.
So how will China and African countries deepen their cooperation and promote bilateral ties to a high level?
This can be done in two ways. First of all, we have the country-to-country approach. That's at the level of African countries. The other level is that of China on the one hand and the whole of Africa on the other. So in this case, there is the need to raise the level of cooperation to what the new foreign policy strategy of Nigeria is. That is comprehensive strategic partnership. In other words, the strategy should not just be limited to strategic partnership, but it must have a comprehensive character, meaning that all issues, all aspects of national development to be created. And I think in this case, rather than the joint commission being discussed theoretically, they should be institutionalized the way we have a Nigeria-Niger joint commission. And more importantly, I think there is the need to underscore the policy of self-reliance. Self-reliance is good.
In what ways can China support Africa integration and interdependence of economies?
I want to believe that the most important approach to it is for China to support infrastructural development. Emphasis should be laid on interstate railway. The Chinese have been involved in one way or the other in East and Southern Africa. I think this one should be extended to the generality of the whole continent. There is the need to promote scientific collaboration, all right, and for China to support scientific research. By so doing, we'll be able to take advantage of everything.
Finally, what does a stronger China-Africa Union mean for the world at large?
Oh, certainly, the other part of the world will be envious. There's no doubt about that. We are now in a more competitive, globalizing world. You can see that Theresa May came to Nigeria. Angela Merkel of Germany also came to Nigeria. All these countries are great in themselves, but they are also looking for other sources of survival. And it will imply a new scrambling for Africa. We are witnessing a new scramble for Africa now. And I think that they still want to use Africa as a source of raw materials for the development of Europe and the other parts of the world. So the implication of this is that a new entente, a better understanding between Nigeria and China certainly will be an issue for the whole world to begin to discuss.
Professor Bola Akinteriwa, thank you for joining us on the program. In South Africa, aspiring medical clowns entertain young patients, bringing laughter and a welcome distraction through the corridors of hospitals in Johannesburg. The clown performers tap into the healing power of happiness, training under Israeli clown doctor Amnon Raviv, the first person to earn a doctorate in medical clowning in the world. Take a look.
This group of clowns are spending the afternoon with children at a hospital in Johannesburg, South Africa. The troupe wants to amuse and entertain the sick and lift patients' spirits. The clowns visit several hospitals in the city as part of training in medical clowning, a skill that promotes use of laughter as part of therapy for patients.
We give here in the training the fundamentals of the work. Then they should take it, you know, and because the clowns here are from South Africa, they will know how to adapt it, you know, better way to the environment of the hospitals here. But here in the training, we have 10 days training. It's just the fundamentals that are everywhere.
But against eating burgers.
The students all have a background in theatre arts and have been attending a 10-day workshop by Dr. Amnon Raviv, the first person to ever earn a doctorate in medical clowning in the world.
Me?
Good.
Dr. Raviv, who works as a clown doctor in Israel, came to South Africa to help a newly launched non-governmental organization, Dr. Heartbeat, set up its medical clown training program.
Once more.
I'm setting out the profession of medical clowning because I believe South Africa has a multitude of talent in this country. We have a lot of unemployed youth who we are targeting to train, and we're hoping to create job opportunities for those people who are unemployed.
The performers learned various tricks, games, songs, jokes, and how to use props and makeup to present funny episodes to patients.
As they say, laughter is the best medicine. Thank you for watching. I'm Teniola Shoboale.